This man is a genius. He found strange circles of grass on the ground, so he laid a trap here. Did not expect to catch dozens of pounds of heavy rat the next day. They took the rats back to the shelter for disposal. The heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys of a rat, baked directly on the iron pan. I'm eating a delicious roast. The last episode was about the Gary team building a raft. Move in search of new resources. They came to a new position. I see smoke coming out here. They decided to stop here and have a look. Gary and Max stumbled into Snyder's place. Snyder's been single here a long time. They were also very happy to see Gary. Gary's been giving him honey as a gift ever since. Little did they know that the man in front of them was a poor man, and the one who had the worst day of any team. Snyder says he's been here for 2 weeks. Max expressed great surprise. But just because Snyder is poor doesn't mean resources are scarce. At least Gary brought a paracord to catch the crocodiles here. With Gary and Max on board, that's a good thing for Snyder. Perhaps it will be of great help to him in his next challenge. Snyder told them his story. They were amazed when they heard it. The high guy in front of you is definitely a bad guy. Gary adored him. He'd be honored to die next to Snyder. In order to keep these two idiots, Snyder says there are a lot of alligators here, and deer often come here to drink. He eats catfish every day. To see the crocodile tools they brought with them.
Great, because there's a lot of gators here.
Have you seen a bunch?
There's tons here. So happy to see you boys. Chateau de la Swamp is your home.
Especially since they brought the tools I've been needing to take on these gators.
When Max hears about the resources here, I feel very interested. Snyder's team grew as a result. Jeff teamed this way. Their resources are starting to run short. Black bears have also been spotted nearby. They haven't seen a crocodile for 4 days. In the absence of food, and they work every day. This can cause them to consume too quickly. As the weather gets colder and colder, their challenges will get harder and harder. If we don't catch the crocodile, then the next half of their life is going to be very difficult. I haven't even heard a crocodile lately. Steven guessed that they might be in the water. Wait until the sun is warm. Their only source of food now is fishing in the river, but fish are not so easy to catch. Nor did the Nutria trap. Steven was exploring, saw a hive of bees, but high up in the tree hole. Sugar is worth more than gold here. There must be honey in the beehive. He's struggling to get up there. Still cut the wood. A little too big for a peanut brain. CPU is dry smoke, still can't think of a way. Matt grouped this way. Riley had health problems. She still felt very ill after vomiting. I was on a happy vacation. A teammate's physical discomfort. It took the wind out of Ryan and Matt's eyes. Riley realized he couldn't eat so much meat anymore. She wanted very much to stay here until day 60. Then she has to be careful, in case you do withdraw because of your health. It's a big loss. Ryan really understands Riley, because he's been carried out of the show for vomiting before. Vomiting can easily lead to dehydration. Dehydration makes it easy to mummify. To save Riley, they told Riley to rest in the shelter. There is no shortage of food and drink now. Matt is going to build a dock here, so you can go fishing in deeper waters. Both of them were infected with Nutria. Don't touch the water, so the docks are very important to them. After they planted, began to cut down the wood. They plunged the cutwood into the water. Matt didn't expect the mud to sink this deep. It's like the girlfriend abyss. No matter how hard you push, it could go a little deeper. Matt thinks so too. They soon built a pier. Matt was walking on it. They can build their way out. It's where 2 high rollers do a classic Titanic scene. Gary grouped this way. Snyder got up in the morning and took a bite of honey. Gary thinks honey will improve men's abilities. Snyder's nut bag is still stitched. I hope it doesn't blow out. Snyder has Gary and Max on board. It's like having 2 more workers. Gary may be older, but the work was very good. Snyder sensed their vigor, too. The main task every day is to collect wood. It can be used to keep warm at night. After collecting the wood, I'm out hunting. Snyder plans to use Gary's paracord to catch alligators. There are still more crocodiles here. Snyder showed them the resources. It's up to Gary and them to eat the gators. It's like a crocodile pond in here. Crocodiles can be seen sunning themselves everywhere. They saw a bigger crocodile nearby. So far, Snyder is the only one who hasn't eaten alligator meat. There are props all over the place. As long as they make bait and hang it, I'm sure the show will hook a crocodile. Gary is already looking forward to his second alligator roast.
You're drooling. Wait.
Yeah, hold on.
You're drooling, man. You're gonna get him, Gary.
Just think about the crocodile. Saliva has involuntarily from the corners of the mouth flow out. Gary couldn't wait. I can't wait to get my family out and fish for that gator across the street. This crocodile is too big. They thought the paracord might not be able to pull it, but Snyder thinks that with Gary and Max and their help, I'm sure I'll be eating alligator roast. Jeff teamed this way. He fished on the shore every day, and Steven keeps watching the bee nest. He wants to try to get the honey on it. This would be thousands of joules of energy. Steven cut down a branch, teased the bees directly with the stick. Soon the bees were thoroughly irritated by him. This high guy gets chased and stung by bees. He headed straight for Jeff. Looks like he wants to share the pain with Jeff. Jeff was confused, too. Steven was stung on the head. The bee needles are clearly visible. It was a mess, but it's really exciting. They're discussing plans for how to get honey.
Is the tree possible to climb to the nest?
Climb it? I mean, it's steep, man. It's like this. If there's anything on the edge of that stick, I can see here in a little while.
Yep.
Gary and they started the gator fishing program. The dead fish Snyder caught hanging from the tree. They intend to use the dead fish as bait. Snyder hopes the gators like the taste. To fish for crocodiles, choose open water. Max climbed up the tree, let the bait out. The bait just hangs on the water. Snyder is very grateful to Gary and his family because they brought crocodile fishing gear. Snyder had waited a month for this moment. They set up 2 decoys. Just wait for the crocodile to come and eat it. Max is also looking forward to catching crocodiles again. He was very excited about his first experience anyway. He knew a huge crocodile was nearby. It made him more eager while fishing for alligators. They also make automatic fishing devices on the shore. A fishing device made by Snyder. Max was impressed. He thanked Snyder for giving him valuable survival lessons. The current team should be strong. Snyder's shelter is the biggest of them all. Max was very happy there. Plus, he has a lot of fur, plus a fire burning. You can sleep at night without getting cold. Time came to day 32. Jeff and his men came to the bottom of the hive early in the morning. How are they planning to get the honey? What he's not sure about right now, whether there's honey on it or not. There's no need to risk it if there's no honey. The branch that poked the bee's nest yesterday got stuck in it. There's no honey on this branch anyway. Steven guessed that the bee nest might be in the middle of the tree. They're weighing risk versus reward. To put it bluntly, fear of death. If it was Gary here, must have cut the tree straight for the honey. The trees are too tall. Climbing trees must be dangerous. They found black bear droppings under the tree. A black bear was foraging near their shelter. Jeff's guess, black bears appear here. There's a very good chance there's honey on it. Matt grouped this way. Riley felt much more comfortable. Now the task of finding food and exploring the area. Riley will do it all. 2 men in the shelter were infected with nut bags. It's impossible to cross the river. Riley was brave as he was. Isn't she afraid the mussels will get infected? Riley representation. Now the challenge is only half over. She has to find enough food to survive. I admire this girl for not lying down and winning. Matt and his crew built the dock, but not much use. Just this spot. It's fine for pooping. Fishing won't make the difference. Matt is going to make a harpoon. Fish on the dock. The 3 spikes on the harpoon can increase the chance of name and cross more stable. Riley crossed the river and began to explore everywhere. The new surroundings are as interesting as her shopping. She found a crocodile here. The crocodile was swimming about in the water, probably looking for food. Riley would prefer it lying on the shore in the sun. This will ensure that his nest is here. Matt stood on the dock waiting for his chance. It's hard to spear fish, but as long as you show off your skills. Acting cute was his favorite thing. He forks when he sees a fish. Too bad it didn't hit. Always fantasizing about being a sea king. Little did he know he was just a fisherman in the gutter. Riley found a lot of mushrooms here. She picked some and went back to stew. Traces of deer feet were found on the ground. It also means there are deer nearby. Riley took the mushrooms back to the shelter and tell your teammates about the deer. This is a very useful piece of information for Matt. He can go back to hunting deer, but he was infected with a Nutria itch. How can you hunt deer if you can't cross the river? He can only put his hopes on this pier. Matt wants to lengthen the pier into a bridge. My teammates laughed when they heard it. It's an incredible thing. The river is about 18 meters long. Riley's reaction to the bridge. I can't even think about it.
Build a bridge.
It's just never been done. Is it even possible? How do you build a bridge and you can't get in the water?
Matt came up with the idea of building a bridge. It sent his teammates into deep thought, so they don't get food because, to build a bridge, Gary grouped this way. They went to check the crocodile traps in the morning. They're really looking forward to catching a crocodile. It had been a long time since Max had eaten meat. They were on the shore checking the fishing gear they placed yesterday. They did catch a big catfish. All of a sudden, everybody's excited. Snyder finally gets a bite of meat. I'm having grilled catfish for breakfast. This fish is not big, but it was enough for them to have a good breakfast. They continued to check the fishing gear. I caught another catfish. 2 catfish were harvested today. It was a successful hunt for them. Snyder was as excited as a baboon with a mating success. Gary thinks he's a good angler, too. They are full of hope now. The Gary team has been at Snyder's for a few days. Today is the first time to eat together. The catfish meat is grilled on a skewer. They devour meat. This feels so good. Only when you're fed will you have the strength to catch crocodiles. Maybe the next one we catch will be a crocodile. The time came to evening. Jeff was sleeping in the shelter when he heard animal noises. Black bears are in the neighborhood again. If they can catch this bear, that must have been very explosive. Black bears are just outside the shelter. They dare not make a sound in the shelter. Steven takes the camera and looks outside. A pair of eyes met him. If the black bear attacks them, I'm afraid Steven and Jeff both need a box lunch. 2 high guys were just standing in front of the shelter looking at each other. He's got a fucking leg. That really killed me. Steven yelled at the black bear at the shelter for being immoral. What's the point of coming here in the middle of the night to scare people? Fortunately, the bear did not quarrel with them. They were too scared to sleep. This is the first time I've been up close to a black bear. They quickly turned up the fire for courage. Time came to day 33. Early that morning, they recalled the events of the night before. Very worried that the black bears here will reappear. They feel the resources here have been exhausted. Jeff suggested moving somewhere else because a black bear showed up in the middle of the night. It really scares the shit out of him. Today, they plan to build a raft. They can't move an inch in this swamp. To get the hell out of here, they had to build a raft to travel the water. You need wood to build a raft. They don't have a lot of driftwood in their position, so building a raft was also a struggle for them. Jeff plans to tear down the shelter to build a raft to get out of here as soon as possible. They had to do it. 2 people return the shelter, gather the twigs inside. These twigs are of little use, but staying here would scare me to sleep every night. Leaving here is their only option. The raft hasn't been built yet. Their shelter has been torn down. Bundle all the sticks together. Let's hope they build the raft. And Matt's on this side. They have begun to build the bridge. This is definitely a big project. The Wild Man Bridge building team is probably the first of its kind. Well, at least there's more trees on Matt's side. They collected a lot of thickwood. Building the bridge is a big project. They drop trees into the water. Try to build a bridge by building a pier. This is very similar to the principle of the dock. Matt's not afraid to die either. Standing on these twigs and building bridges. They tried to set up branches in the water, then put the stick on top of it. They built the bridge very quickly. First of all, it depends on them that there are plenty of trees here. The speed of construction really surprised me. It's clear that this group of players is the do-it-yourself type. It took so much effort to build this bridge. Must be taking down the show's road deer. They didn't just show how to build bridges. More importantly, they demonstrated their ability to survive. They're indomitable to circumstances. Try to change your destiny through your knowledge. With this bridge, they can explore more resources by going to the other side. Through teamwork, they took a miracle step. The bridge is a symbol of their success here.
That is about a 60-foot bridge to be able to walk from.
One small step for a survivalist.
Officially landed on the other side of pulled it off.
Right! Yeah! First bridge ever! It's just incredible.
Jeff, team this way. They're building a raft as fast as they can. The shelter has been torn down. If I don't leave tonight, probably scared to death by a bear. The bear has been hunting nearby. They have to find a new place to stay. The way to make a raft is very simple. It's a bunch of small sticks packed together. Make it a balancing device on both sides. Then create a flat surface in the middle. They carry the half-built raft to the shore. Accidentally hit the wood, but it's too late to hurt. They have to find a new location before dark. A rudimentary raft is all it takes. I just don't know if I can float. Gary group this way. They're going to look for more honey. Gary has experience picking beehives. They came to check out the crocodile trap. I heard a crocodile here. Marks thinks the bait did the trick. This is where they're going to clean up the water lilies, so the crocodile can see where the bait is. Gary dug up some roots and ate them. It tastes pretty good. It tastes like celery. Gary and Snyder really hit it off because they're both old people. Max is here sorting out the crocodile device. Clear the water lilies from the bait. It's the only way we have a chance of catching a crocodile. Now he is very confident. Jeff over here spent the day building a raft today. They also collected a lot of firewood here. I'm saving it for the night. Try to scare the black bears by setting them on fire. Time comes tonight. It was a little after 2 o'clock in the morning. The black bear growled again in the wild. Jeff, when they heard it, they were on alert, with a knife in his hand, ready to fight black bears to the death. Time came to day 34. They passed the night without a scare. Today they're going to move, go to other new places to find resources. All we have is a few furs and an iron pot. They checked the map before setting out. How should the planned route be taken? On the right, there is a large field of floating water lilies. They had to go the other way. Half of the challenge time is over. The other half of the time, we have to find more resources to stay afloat. They lowered the raft into the water. The raft can successfully float on the water. When they left, do not forget to greet the bear family 18 generations. The raft is not very buoyant. People sit on it. Families fishing down there. If I'm not mistaken, this must be a move the show set up. The Gary group moved to Snyder's, and Jeff's team will probably move to Matt's team. Matt group this way, with this bridge over the other side. He can explore more resources. Matt's out here looking for deer. If you hunt a deer, then they will go straight into vacation mode until day 60. Matt was very confident that he would hunt a deer. Ryan starts applying body lotion early in the morning. These lotions are made from crocodile fat. He's going across the river to set a hunting trap. Here he saw a trace. Ryan suspects this is the path the Nutria took. He's going to set a trap here, in case we do catch a Nutria. That must have been a lot of meals.
See this tunnel right through here, but this is a great spot, natural funnel pretty fat belly, so.
We have 3 days max worth. Where's that next meal gonna come from?
I don't want to touch anything else.
But I bet you we'll be getting another one soon.
Hours passed. Jeff, they still don't see the right place. There's swamps everywhere. They've been sitting on the raft all day. This looks more like a never-ending journey. To one's surprise, they see a shelter here. Jeff was very surprised. Yell at the shelter, but there was no response. They decided to explore here. This is actually Gary's old shelter. They found crocodile bones here. I also saw 2 beds in the shelter. Thinks there were 2 high people living here. Jeff and Steven are like archaeologists here. Guess how they live? We have 3 hours left before dark. There's plenty of wood to keep you warm. They're going to spend the night here. This shelter became their place of departure. Jeff decided to take the night off and start again in the morning. The time came to evening. Steven is very curious about this place. Jeff feels like he's living in someone else's shelter. It's like staying at a friend's house. And Matt's side. They slept around the fire. A Nutria explores Ryan's trap. This is no place for you. Go back and get your mother. Time came to day 35. They were gonna check out the Nutria traps this morning. Ryan thinks the odds are slim, but I'd love to catch a Nutria. The first time they ate a Nutria was 2 weeks ago. Now the trap is set again for revenge. They're on their way. It's all about anticipation. I've got 1,000 ways to cook Nutria in my head. As they approached the trap, found a Nutria lying on the floor. That's a lot of luck. They really did catch a Nutria. The Nutria is stuck in a tree branch. The Nutria was killed on camera last night. They slowly approach the Nutria. A man pulls his tail. A man pulls the rope. Riley will cover it. 3 accomplices avenged the Nutria twice. This head will feed them until they're full. Riley felt very proud. The second hunt was successful. They eat all the Nutria's innards. This morning began to eat barbecue dinner. They roast the meat directly over the fire. Any part of the meat should be used well. The cooked offal goes first. Internal organs are rich in many nutrients. It's what their wilderness survival contestants need most. I haven't been feeling well for some time, but Riley doesn't feel confident here anymore. I tasted barbecue again today. She thought she could again. Of course you think you can when you eat meat. It's a different story when you're hungry. They ate roast meat in the sun. Even without the seasoning, they still eat very well. As long as it tastes like meat, it's enough. I can't stop looking happy. Jeff, team this way. They stayed in the rental house for one night. Though very simple, you can get by without spending money. They observed the construction of this shelter. The wood used is very large, and the roof uses a lot of palm leaves. Jeff, they're looking at everything here like archaeology. Just seeing the shelter, I think there's a lot of resources here. They tore the shelter down, took a lot of palm leaves. I took a lot of stuff with me when I left, so where will they go next? I guess only the director knows that. Gary grouped this way. The doctor came here early in the morning to examine Snyder's bag of nuts. Snyder's a tough guy, too. Even if the nut bag cracks, you're not out of the game. Gary watched Snyder being examined by doctors. Max was amazed when he saw it. Stitched the most sensitive area, and without the anesthetic. I admire Snyder's will, too. Gary and Max were watching him and laughed at his bag of nuts. Gary and Max will check the fishing traps. I found a fish. They were instantly excited, but I never thought it would be 2. These 2 fish are harvested today. It gives them 2 more days to live. They're processing the catfish right up in the trees. After Snyder disinfected his family, just checking out the crocodile traps, found the bait had been eaten. This crocodile must be very big. Snyder gritted his teeth at its theft, swore I'd catch it and eat its balls alive. While he was fishing, a crocodile was seen sunning itself in the distance. Snyder returned to the shelter pack to tell a companion. Said he saw a crocodile basking in the sun. They expressed deep dissatisfaction. The Gary team sent Max to attract the gators. Being the youngest guy on the team, it's impossible to risk the 2 old people in the family in order to survive, and he was willing to die. This high guy's not afraid to die. The water is full of crocodiles. Give me $10. I'd like to go down, too. Snyder said he wanted to go on his own, but the nutbag needle can't touch the water. They were there watching Max swim by. This is likely to be eaten by crocodiles. When he was just about to dock, the crocodiles just started attacking. Max was scared out of his wits. He's already in crocodile territory. The crocodile was about 1 meter or 2 long. Gary says the little crocodile doesn't need to be afraid. If you don't agree, do it directly. If he dies, he'll be carried away by the show. Gary may be older, but right now he's not afraid at all, because it wasn't you who died. Max set up alligator traps here. If I can catch a crocodile, the risk is well worth it. Jeff, team this way. They've been floating for hours. This is where they saw the crocodile appear. Steven was going to catch him on the raft. A crocodile on the water is not fun. Almost caught the fish. It's such a shame. They've been on the raft a long time. Never found a suitable location. Matt grouped this way. They fished on the bridge after eating the barbecue. Riley was sitting on it waiting for sleep. Fishing is really boring to her. It's a waste of time, but it's nice not to have to work. When he was full, Riley started vomiting again. It's exactly what I thought it would be. Only Riley withdrew for medical reasons. Jeff and them can join the team. Riley as the only female survivor. Her exit was preordained. Riley felt a stomachache. Matt and Ryan are worried about Riley's health. It's been a long time coming. The doctor came by to examine Riley. After asking for some basic information, the doctor guessed that she had just eaten something wrong. Took Riley's blood pressure. Vital signs are still normal. Doctors suspect she is food poisoning. We need to test Riley's blood sugar. During the inspection, Riley was vomiting violently again. You don't have to look. Riley's gonna have to withdraw today. She finds it too hard to be here. And Jeff and his crew are still floating down the river. They don't even know where they're going. It's such an open environment. Why not stay around? Gary grouped this way. They've been preparing for the crocodile hunt. Snyder hasn't eaten the alligator yet. Of course, he was not reconciled. What surprises do the contestants have in store for us next? Look forward to an update in the next video.